have huge plans.
You have huge plans?
Yes. But anyway, I'm planning to leave Omsk and seek the better place. I don't know, maybe in Moscow.
Enjoying Constantine in Moscow.
Yeah.
Maybe you can sleep on Constantine's couch.
Who knows? Yeah.
And I'm actually curious about, you need to expand upon that comment now, Vlad. You said you were a freedom fighter?
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Please do continue.
I've noticed a very libertarian streak in him.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a figure of speech.
The figure of speech, okay. So you're a lover of freedom, a freedom lover.
Yeah, just it sounds much better than just lawyer.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Instead of I'm a lawyer, I get it there. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. On both sides of the world, lawyers have an image problem. I will say a bit about myself, if that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I am Pete Smith. I am actually at the University of Texas in Arlington, so I'm between Dallas and Fort Worth. And as Carly said, I've been a teacher of Russian and German and intercultural communications for more years than I would admit. And actually, one of my greatest joys is when former students like Carly and I get to teach together. So I knew her probably a decade ago, right? I bet it stretches back that far, maybe. And it's delightful. And Erin, thank you so much for joining us. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah, Erin, everybody's been really excited.
Now, Erin, did you meet with the class group in the hour before this as well?
So I was like that.
Oh, very nice. So where are you located right now?
And I
Okay, very nice.
I'm going to have to look that up so I can write it. About
Oh, very nice.
So I will write this here. You said you Shakopee. Oh, that's a hard word. Dewaka. And then that. Yeah. I came up with. I wrote in the chat for our students, Shakopee Wakatan Sioux community, right? And can you? Yeah. Okay. Yep. And can you tell them a little bit about your profession and what it is that you're doing now?
Sure. So that but
Okay. This native deal. Oh, Colton, thing of life. Oh, and take it. And then thing that so so the sorry, I'm keeping notes on the whiteboard so they can kind of keep track of all
I'm trying to keep notes in the chat too, so that'll be good.
this. Talking?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so. These guys, their level of English is pretty good. How are you doing, Vlad and Konstantin? Is all of that clear? Do you have any questions about what she said?
It's pretty clear.
Perfectly clear. Okay. Konstantin, what about you? Your mic's muted, Konstantin.
I have a very bad connection, so I heard only some words.
Mm-hmm. Well,
can, I
hopefully
can
you can
only,
see the
only
right.
read.
Okay, well at least you can read the chat and see the whiteboard. What I really liked and I thought was really cool, Aaron, was your introduction. And would you actually is it just called Lakota language, or does it have a separate name for the language? Lakota. So that was really great. I'd never heard that before.
So Lakota people. So and we do red, but we the red. Everybody
That's really great. Maybe we can teach the students a couple of words to maybe just hello and then my name is. Would you mind? Konstantin and Vlad, would that be interesting for you?
Yes.
Of course.
I'm going to let you type, Carly.
Aaron, I'm probably going to misspell it horribly.
What does it mean? Sorry?
every family ID systems. Ways one of friends from you. Me. I want it. And
And Russia is a very collectivist country in that way as well, Aaron. There's a real focus on group and how the group interacts, and family has a very big importance, whereas, as you know, in North America and U.S., it's I, me. Individualistic.
of
Oh, that's perfect. I had never thought about that being a feature of unique Native peoples. Yeah.
Yeah, seven generations. Huge.
Oh yes, very much so.
Well,
Actually, I say I'm familiar, but we probably better tell the Russians.
Yeah, I think so.
There's now and doing um
Yeah.
one fresh and fresh uh, food going we one fraction block and just
And do you feel that your voices are being heard, Aaron, in Washington?
um get off from what that we were going to vote on proof it to about a lot of money people and to say fairly so I'm hoping
Yeah, that's I I knew just a little bit about the pipeline issue, not too much. So that's really interesting for me as well. Um, also, I was hoping before we open the floor for questions too, could you tell us a little bit about perhaps how where you're living now differs from where your community originally is from in South Dakota?
Cheyenne River pollination have been is that being an dogs but that though by the word the certain policy course. I made it extremely hate. Another would be billion. And back the working for that. Or there's only big so
Yeah, thanks for that. Okay, and oh, I also want to mention too, before I forget, Vlad, that video that you found, that was so interesting that I posted there for the others to watch. Aaron knows of this, sorry, was his name Aaron Huey? Aaron?
yeah.
Yeah, so she knows of his work and of the photographs and some of the people in those photographs, right? So that's,
Yeah, he was cool. Or something to do and so so that I found it or
yeah, maybe. There were quite a few different.
Is that a link we could put into the chat, Carly?
Yeah, let me find it. I'm on a Finnish computer, so I have to translate Finnish as I'm trying to copy these things.
Aaron, you had mentioned the Lakota worldview as being very holistic. I was really struck by your words. You know, the mind, body, and spirit all come together. This is something else that I would say in U.S. North American culture is fairly rare. Could you talk a little bit more about that holistic worldview?
So collect learning. I've used most of it. And
Yeah.
on the ball. That choose that they allow made in
That's, that's so interesting. I'm just sitting here realizing how little I know, I guess. Wishing I knew more. Let's go ahead and, if it's okay with you, Aaron, then maybe we can let Kostya and Vlad pose their questions to you, and then if there's any time left, we can go through some other additional questions that haven't been asked. But also, you guys, keep in mind as we're talking as well, the map of the United States here. So this is where Aaron's Lakota tribe is from, state of South Dakota, right? And right now Aaron is working in Minnesota. Yep. And Aaron and I grew up rather close. Aaron's the same age as my sister, and we grew up living around here in Iowa. So as you can see, these states are located very close to one another. Let's go ahead here and Vlad or Konstantin, whoever wants to begin, by all means. Just don't forget that your microphones are muted. That means you can unmute your microphones now. Don't be shy. Otherwise, I'm going to pick on one of you.
I'm not shy, just
They're never
thinking.
shy.
Yes, I think it's a better question. Mm,
They were and uh,
That could
Yeah,
be something
yeah,
that,
that'd be a good theme.
yeah. And we'll have to, I don't know how much you guys follow sports. I certainly don't. So somebody who knows more about the teams and
So the football team in Washington, D.C. has been known for many decades as the Washington Redskins. And there is a large public debate about that term. And Aaron, you can probably express this better than I can, but how distasteful a term it is to many native peoples, is that correct?
they have gotten that's the way I been that's not acceptable. Pictures put up makes that he and comes from being not to it's acceptable. I actually don't know if you do this. And
I
Yeah.
see something.
Oh, yeah, reward for a dead Indian.
Oh.
And so that's one of the newspaper ads at the time.
the work of that increase being behind that too. Apparently, the that was a little blur to be for the woman, the male. It's interacted put out people telling it
Wow.
and see like been brought up
No, I'm not.
He's the
Donald
Donald
Sterling.
Sterling own. All of a sudden, I remember, but anyway, he African American room seen as but so this was all an NBA station actually.
For
So
life.
I don't for
For life.
life,
Yeah.
right? Okay. That I can't even imagine it. Blade killed and turned again, right? Like it just didn't happen. Takes his edge.
Vlad wrote in the chat, what exactly did this man say? Vlad, we could probably imagine if you know some of the really horrible racist slurs. I'm sure you probably know some of those words.
And you can Google and you can hear the audio that he said,
Right.
and it's just terrible. But the news in the United States very rightly picked this up and made it a very important theme. But to Aaron's point, the issues around the Redskins aren't receiving that same sort of change, right? The
Right.
media picked up Mr. Sterling and just very rightly took him to task, and he's banned for life. And Washington Redskins don't want to stay, and I think they aren't, right? They're just holding out.
Yeah.
Is there a billionaire owner of the Washington Redskins? I don't know who actually owns them.
Yeah, I don't know, but no.
Yeah,
Thing. Like it's
sort of
it's
buy off the
disgusting.
issue, right?
But he rapped. Okay.
Yeah. Wow.
Sorry, I'm trying to keep all these things up to date in the chat too. So if I'm not picking up,
I've fallen down. Aaron, I wonder. I was in Washington State recently and was hearing some of the issues around Wounded Knee, which I since learned may have what involved the Lakota people, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where that was the time when raising cares. You and basically the that change to get to where um, if we flag that we and that we're looking at that was the power we came in all the and mothers no.
And I'd heard it was one of the first uses of actually machine guns. You know, it was just so brutal and horrific that I don't think most Americans know that, honestly.
Yeah.
It was yeah, brutal and horrific. But we government was allowing children.
Mm-hmm.
And have they rescinded the honors or not? No. And in fact, I actually read the story in the newspaper when I was up there about how there's a controversy about the land, right? Is it still the case that a businessman owns the land and is not willing or able to sell it back to the Lakota and the Cheyenne? Is that
Yeah,
still the case?
Put up ceremony. The government.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's just trying to serve people more important. And it's very important. Um, for the dealt with fight out and they would just, this is that and belief.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, Constantine, do you have a question you'd like to ask?
I don't know. I don't get maybe. There was only two such events: the massacre of 1890.
Right. So that would be the Wounded Knee
The
massacre.
Wounded Knee, yeah, and escaped Dakota people from Georgia, and is it a main event of I don't know how to say the main event of the war, the U.S. government with the native people, or there was another great event.
Yeah. So are there other events similar to
Other
Wounded
events,
Knee?
yeah.
Yes.
Because in all links that clearly supplies us, there was not other events except Wounded Knee and Dakota Track of Tears. I don't remember.
Trail of Tears.
Trail of Tears, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Aaron, are there other similar incidents to Wounded Knee?
This, why is older, like, that here. History, what or the environment.
Mm.
And I'm sorry, the number of casualties were I don't know, were huge. That the population of Indians reduced in, I don't know, in thousands, but were they killed or they assimilated with white Americans?
Okay. Aaron, did you get the question? I can kind of. Okay. So, Kostya mentioned that he knows the population, the Native American population has decreased so many times from what it was. And his question is, were these people killed or executed outright, or was it sort of smaller, isolated incidents or assimilation with whites elsewhere?
And basically so they were just the policy. That were to now that 50 years ago. Yeah, you know, some of our and languages, things like that, they don't really care. And govern like
And I saw that Vlad wrote a question in the chat. Vlad, do you want to read your question to Aaron?
You want
Perhaps you can read her the quotation and the question that you wrote.
yes, I read during my preparation. I noticed the phrase of General Philip Sheridan, the American general, who said that the only good Indians I ever saw were dead. This phrase is pretty popular even in Russia. And in fact, as I know, it was like a official slogan of United States policy of those times. And my question is it really that United States continue this policy? But if in the past time they just directly killed Native Americans, it was open violence. But now it's other methods like poverty, unemployment, low level of medicine, and other things.
break up. There was happening. That's and but it man and Indian they both basically is that kind of what you're
I think yes.
Yeah, there's one, I think, little smaller aspect of the question that maybe we could expand upon was, it seems like your question, Vlad, was, is the United States still trying to intentionally exterminate Native Americans and trying to intentionally kill them, not by mass executions, but is it their intention to keep reservations poor, to keep people down, to kill their spirits and save the man, for example?
you know that's what and you know but we pretty much just
Yeah. Also, I promised to ask a couple of the questions from the other students from the last class. So one of the students, Nastya, asked, is the plight of Native Americans so uneasy, or maybe so difficult, or are some of the stories exaggerated? That was her first question.
everything
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't
Yeah, I think she just means is everything as it seems, you know, is it as bad as it seems?
yeah, it is.
Question. Mm-hmm. And her next question was very good as well. Has the government taken measures for bettering Native Americans' living conditions in the past 20 years? And if they have, were these measures successful?
We have
Mm.
Cool. There's positive. That is for experiments. For healthy
Mm. Yeah.
with
Mm. Yeah. That's, you mean Obamacare? Or some people would,
yeah,
yeah.
that's kind of the
Yeah, yeah, of course. We talked about that a bit earlier in the semester too, so at least I think everybody's familiar with that. And a couple of the other questions that the students had to do with specific traditions. What are some special traditions that your tribe or perhaps other tribes have in common that really distinguish Native Americans from other indigenous peoples in other countries of the world?
there will we um
Mm.
have a new season. Way and it's really and there's just in having them see this. The same time calendar, and that time that he I mean that was the nature
And smudging with sage and the importance of
yeah
other sort of
foods
herbs and yeah, yeah. And then another question was about the tradition of name giving. about what
What?
yeah, what types of names are given and why,
Oh,
how
okay.
people have them.
Not Nahiki, where we have where we on there. Life world we just on the womb, time for take care of them. There's not the surrounding that getting they become each a lot on is when they get and grandmother actually there's blue rage that those even that those can travel now. So the grand to breathe the that pass on from to the child. And then the child later on will be given naming. Read some of the but fire and they ask what child and they're able to tell them is what to so. But we I'm not artistic so we can get it and out with our children. We spirit world and they're the most favorite.
Oh, that's great.
This is fascinating. Wow.
Yeah, it's I wish we had even more time.
And Konstantin and Vlad, you've heard us say that even Carly and I are learning so much today because the average American on the street, I don't think, has heard so many of these important details or facts or stories that Erin is sharing with us today.
So it's a really wonderful opportunity to hear from someone with firsthand knowledge about Native American culture, cultural rituals, life in general. We are actually almost out of time. I think we are out of time now, aren't we, Professor Smith?
I think we are. And Erin, I just want to say thank you. Just, if I'm sort of the man on the street, you've really schooled me today. So thank you. This has been fascinating.
And Erin, perhaps if any of the students have a couple of other questions, would it be okay if I passed those on to you later?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great, because I know Falule, one of the students from last session, there were a couple of questions too that we didn't get to, and I'm sure that Vlad and Kostya will probably think of more questions later, or even have questions that they didn't get to ask today.
It's not enough time for such topic. It's really huge.
Yeah.
If you want to learn land,
Vine. Okay, this is Deloria Jr. I don't know if I spelled Deloria right, but
Deloria, D-O-O-R.
Yep. Vine Deloria Jr. So Vlad, there's a place you go for books. And I'll write you a question in the chat real quick.
And Aaron, I hope you'll let us invite you in some future classes as well. That it's a great way to be able to connect with you right there in your community and hear your story. So thank you.
Thanks for having.
This has been wonderful. Well, Vlad and Constantine, you had a wonderful treat. Thank you for your questions as well.
No, I enjoyed it. So, yes.
Thank you, guys.
Carly, do I understand we recorded for the students?